Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Today we have some news. Jaire Alexander, the all-pro cornerback from the Green Bay Packers, has been released. Now, the question is, should the Rams go after him? We're going to get into it. Before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and Kick. A lot of different things to throw out there. But also, just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is Mando. And I got to ask you, have you ever stepped outside, felt like you were instantly drenched in sweat? It's like no matter what you do, it does not stop. And if you're struggling with the heat, the humidity, it is summertime, I got great news for you. Mando just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level. Introducing the Mando deodorant plus sweat control solid stick. It's double protection. You finally get the odor control you love with Mando plus powerful sweat control. So I absolutely love that Mando went in this direction. A sweat control stick with double protection, re-engineered based on studies to give all day freshness and dryness. If you want to get in on the action, you can use my code JKBogan. It's going to get you 20% off your Mando site-wide order and free shipping. So again, shopmando.com. Be sure to use promo code JKBogan and be sure to support the show and let them know that I sent you. All right. So, in case you've been living under a rock, who is Jaire Alexander? He's a former Louisville Cardinal, was actually, I think he was my third overall prospect the year he came out. I believe it was in 2017. Absolutely love the prospect. Had some injuries, really good returner, really feisty corners, my number one corner in that draft. Ended up going on and becoming somebody really, really good in this league. And he was released today by the Packers. So this is a two-time Pro Bowler, a two-time second-team All-Pro, and a first-round pick in 2018. I mentioned 2017. It's actually 2018. So just remember that. But let's analyze the pros and the cons of a Los Angeles Rams signing of Alexander to bolster their secondary. Well, let's start off with the pros, okay? Elite talent when healthy. That is what you're getting with Jaire Alexander. Again, when healthy. That's a big, important thing here. 287 tackles, 12 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries over the last 7 seasons. His 2024 performance, he allowed a 79.9 passer rating, 2 interceptions in very limited play, but he's known for his confidence and his ability to disrupt wide receivers. He's very feisty. He wants to get in your face. He plays bigger than he ultimately is. Now, it also addresses the Rams' secondary needs. Now, I say this, making this point. The consensus from Rams fans, Rams social media, Rams message boards is that the Rams have a need in the secondary. I don't believe that to be the case, because I 1,000% believe the Rams, with the roster they have currently and the roster they had before the NFL draft, could win the Super Bowl. Okay? But if you do believe they have needs, well, Jaire Alexander could fill in the gap there. And PFF coverage grades, they had Darius Williams, Kobe Durant, and Ahkello Witherspoon below 62 last year. Now, I want to preface this by saying I don't really care. And in addition to that, I think the grades are a little flawed. I thought Darius Williams was fantastic down the stretch. I thought Kobe Durant was great all year. I thought Ahkello Witherspoon, when actually given a chance to thrive and start, was the best corner on this team. And it showed up in the playoffs. All 3 guys were really sensational when you talk about who they went up against. I've mentioned it ad nauseum, but Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. No big deal. Probably 4 of the top 20 wide receivers or 25 wide receivers in the NFL. And 2 of those receivers are top 5. Okay, so no big deal that they shut those guys down in the playoffs. And, we could use the whole, they played in the snow and it's hard to throw. I don't give a rip about that, okay? These guys do not get enough credit for what they did, and that's just the reality of it. But Alexander could be a significant upgrade, okay? And the point being is, if you think that their depth is good now, or if you don't, Adding Alexander would only make the depth stronger, because now think about this. If you add Alexander and he plays with Ahkello Witherspoon, and Kobe Durant and Darius Williams are kind of going back and forth for that third spot, guess who's the fourth corner? Whoever lost that battle. So now we're talking about Kobe Durant, who's really good last year, Darius Williams, who's really good down the stretch of last year. Now one of these guys is your fourth corner. That makes your team better by virtue, right? The scheme fit is there. I think he 100% could fit into the scheme. He's aggressive. He has this feisty playing style, like I mentioned. I do think it fits the Rams' defensive philosophy. Can play zone, can play man, mirrors well. I mean, he's not the best tackler in the world, but he's not a bad tackler, so to speak. So that's something. The cost effectiveness, that's another thing. When you talk about the pros, this is a guy that, let's be honest here, he has an injury history. He was just released, and he made a lot of money. So he might not cost a lot of money. He's not going to cost top dollar. Okay, the Packers just cut him. They didn't even trade him. They cut him. So the Rams should 100% be able to afford him. I think they have about $16 million in cap space right now off the top of my head. So they definitely have the cap space to accommodate what would be considered a reasonable deal. Probably heavy incentives, decent guaranteed money. But at the same time, it would be a one-year deal in all likelihood. So there's that. It also, in my opinion, boosts their playoff contention. Now, while I might believe that the cornerback room is very, very good right now and they don't need a ton of guys, what I will say is that I'm not ignorant to the fact that Jaire Alexander just simply makes the Rams a better football team. And the Rams are already Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion. So if you add Alexander's experience, you add his skill set, you add his versatility, he can play inside, he can play outside. Now you add the fact that he fits just overall the strategy of improving this roster. Well, you are talking about a team that was already Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion, Super Bowl favorites in the NFC. But now Jaire Alexander would make them even better. So there's something there. Now, what are the cons of signing a guy like Jaire Alexander? Well, I'll tell you, the injuries, right? We got to start off with that. Significant injury concerns. He missed 20 games over the last 2 seasons alone, 7 games played in each of 2023 and 2024. Okay? He missed at least 10 games in 3 of the last 4 seasons. So the best ability is availability. But, I mean, he's not really available, right? I mean, he misses a lot of games. So I think teams are going to be hesitant to commit a lot of cap space to an injury-prone player like that. Now, sometimes you just really want the guy, you get outbid, you offer more. That could happen. But the first con is significant injury concerns. That's just the reality of it. Okay, financial risk is another con. So even a reduced contract is going to carry a risk, because if Alexander can't stay healthy, the Rams may need to allocate cap space for other positions and future extensions, and they might not be able to do that. It's kind of similar to last year with Tre'Davious White. They spent a decent amount of money on him. Now, I'm not saying that it was, backbreaking or anything like that, but that takes away from potentially making a move at the deadline, right? If you can't afford a move at the deadline, you can't make it, right? So that's a big thing. I do think the chemistry, if you add a guy like Alexander, and look, there's already a guy on this roster, Devontae Adams, who has said very good things about Alexander, has liked Alexander a lot. But the we not me culture of the Los Angeles Rams, and they've been through players that have made it more about them. Cam Akers, Deshaun Jackson, these players were moved on from, right? So we've seen that. This has happened in this building before. Could Alexander potentially disrupt what they're building, the chemistry? Does it look bad if all of a sudden he comes in and he's starting over these guys, and he didn't really have the best attitude last year? And keep in mind, Sean McVay is best friends with Matt LaFleur. So that's interesting. I think that is kind of the underrated factor here. I almost feel like that alone, that'll decide. Sean McVay is going to talk to Matt LaFleur if they're even interested in Jaire Alexander. But he's already going to know the T. And the question is the T worth bringing in? Now, I don't know Jaire Alexander personally. I've always been a huge fan of his game, but that is a question that needs to be asked. And when you talk about the limited snaps for younger players like Kobe Durant, now he is in a contract year, of course, but it's not the best, I think. There is there's definitely something there. You could ruin a good thing because that defense last year was the best in the league. I don't care who knows it. At the end of last year, that was the best defense in the NFL, period. He's 28, he's not super old. So there is that, pretty new 28 years old. He's not about to turn 29 or anything. So that's something to keep in mind. But the thing is, he might not, and this is a big con for me, is because when he's healthy, he's great. But at some point or another, he could have sustained an injury that is going to drop his play off the peg. So that might not be the best. But again, that's just one of the things. And then, of course, now this is the real con, okay? You have competition. You have multiple teams that are going to be interested in him. Multiple upon multiple. The Eagles, the 49ers, you got the Dolphins, you got the Steelers, you got the Cowboys, you got the Cardinals. There are plenty of teams that are going to be interested in signing Jaire Alexander. But here's the deal. It's going to drive up costs. It's going to complicate negotiations. And it could take your eyes off the ultimate prize. If you wanted to bring back Jalen Ramsey, you know who he is, you're familiar, you know he'd fit the scheme well, you're ready to go all in, you love the guy, but you run the risk of losing him by going after these heavy negotiations with Jaire Alexander when he's got 10 different teams trying to sign him. You could lose Jalen Ramsey while you're focused on Jaire Alexander. So that is the thing. So, in conclusion, Alexander has elite skills, and the fit, in my opinion, makes him an attractive option. But his injury history and the financial risks are definitely hurdles. The Rams' decision is going to depend on their willingness to gamble on his health and their need for a starting cornerback. To me, the balanced approach is this. Short-term, incentive-based contract, maximize the benefits without minimizing with minimizing the risks. Now, it's not a foolproof method. It's not. But if you could get Jaire Alexander on a cheaper deal, and I'm not saying you can, but if you could, I would also venture to say, I already like the cornerback room. So adding Jaire Alexander, even if he went down with an injury, I already like the cornerback room the way it is. So that's something. Now, I want you guys to comment whether or not you think the Rams should sign Jaire Alexander. Notice, I didn't mention Jalen Ramsey much until the end. Here's why. This video is about today, okay? Jaire Alexander was cut, and now he's available to be signed. This is not a video comparing the two. I can do that video if you guys want, but I need to know that you guys want me to do that video. So put that in the comment section below. My conclusion here is that I don't even know which way I would go. Truthfully, I don't. I don't know which way I would go. Jalen Ramsey's older, and he's going to cost more in terms of draft capital and potentially more money. And Jaire Alexander is younger, but he's got some locker room stuff that went on last year. The opposite of we not me. He sat out, basically quit on his team, so that you have that connection with Matt LaFleur where it's like, do you want to get him? But it is a business ultimately, so I'm not going to put too much stock into that. But the real thing is, Jaire Alexander, is he even better than Jalen Ramsey right now? See, I'm a big believer in what have you done for me lately? I cover baseball. Okay, cover the New York Yankees. I see it all the time. Players, it feels like more than ever in baseball. There'll be guys that are hitting extremely well. They're clutch, runners in scoring position, hitting home runs, all of that. 2 years ago. And now these guys are barely staying in the majors. So the fall off is real. And that's why, to me, I believe it's what have you done for me lately? And Jalen Ramsey has been the more durable corner who offers more. He's a better tackler. He's more versatile. He could play safety. He could play corner. He could play the star. I do believe Jaire could do that, but I know Jalen can. And Jalen already has been a Ram. These two have significant mutual interest in each other, the Rams and Jalen. But here's the deal. Jalen is older, but if you were going to go with a 1-year deal, you're going to just do 1-year rental, whatever, you're probably going to go with Ramsey if you're going all in. If you want more of a longer term thing and you're looking at next year and you're thinking, well, Akello's a free agent, might not be able to bring him back. Darius Williams is a free agent. Kobe Durant is a free agent, right? A lot of guys are free agents. Darion Kendrick. Pretty much all your cornerbacks are gone. So Jaire Alexander, at 28 years old right now, you could sign him to a 3-year deal and he could be your guy. But of course, that depends on the injuries. Does that check out? So I don't really have an explanation. I do think if I had to put my money on it, Ramsey is a Ram, and I think Jaire Alexander goes to either the 49ers or the Eagles because that's just the way things work. That's what I think. I don't see him going to the Rams. And I would like to see him, but at the same time, if it means not getting Jalen Ramsey, I think I'd rather pay the draft capital to get Jalen Ramsey. If Alexander, and this is so weird for me to say, because Alexander's been one of my all-time favorite corners that I've ever scouted. But the injuries are a genuine concern for me. Because it's not a concern in a sense that if it was just him and you're just getting better and he gets hurt and you have your guys, that's great. But to me, it's a concern because it's not just choosing him over the guys on your roster. It's choosing him over Jalen Ramsey too, who is more durable, who does more, who adds more, who has more familiarity. Like, he'd fit better. So that's something you have to keep in mind. If you say Jaire Alexander, you have to keep in mind that you're choosing him over Jalen Ramsey. Would Ramsey be as injury prone as Jaire? No. So it is, in a sense, that does matter. Like, I love the cornerback room, or I really like the cornerback room at least, and I think they're good enough if he goes down, but I would much rather have Jalen Ramsey and have him be a little bit older, maybe not a long-term deal, as opposed to maybe, he does get 2 years. I don't know what Jaire is looking for or anything like that, but that is, to me, what's going through my mind. So I don't really know. I think I lean towards Jalen, though. That's where I think I lean. But I would be surprised if the Rams don't get at least one of these guys. And if they don't, it's not the end of the world. You do have the trade deadline. You do have 2 first-round picks. If they decide not to go after a quarterback next year, you do have 2 first-round picks to play with at the deadline in the offseason. I mean, whatever you want. But the point being is that it's not the end of the world if they don't get either of these guys. But I would say that it would be very beneficial as a team that's going all in. I don't like saying that. As a team that is ready to win right now, a legitimate Super Bowl contender, it definitely would be beneficial to add another player to the mix. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below, again, what you guys think. Do you want Jaire Alexander? Would you sign him? No, why? Let me know. But that's going to do it. Again, special shout out to Mando for sponsoring today's video. Again, JK Bogan will get you 20% off your purchase and free shipping over at mando.com or shopmando.com. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.